Lesson 1. A. Known as the land of Everest, Nepal is one of the most charming countries in Asia. The Kingdom of Nepal is a small land of sublime beauty. It has some of the world's best and very important temples. It is a country that is rich in scenic beauty and cultural heritage. B. Nepal lies between India and the Tibetan part of China. This small country has an area of 147,181 square kilometers. Southern Nepal is tropical lowland known as the Terai Plains. This part of Nepal has hot summers and warm winters. Here the temperatures reach up to 40 degrees Celsius in April and May, and monsoon rains drench this region from June to September. The central hill lands including the Kathmandu and Pokhara valleys have a temperate climate and are also influenced by the monsoon. North of that is the slope of the main section of the Himalayan range. This part of Nepal has some of the highest peaks of the world including Everest. Nepal is home to nearly 29 million people. The population is primarily rural. Kathmandu, the capital city, has less than 1 million inhabitants. Nepal's demographic features are complicated not only by dozens of ethnic groups, but by different castes. In total, there are 103 castes and ethnic groups living in this small country. The two largest of such groups are known as Kshetri and Bahun. Others include Magar, Thaaru and Tamang, Navar, Muslim, Gurung and Dimai. About 48% of the people speak Nepali. Among other languages spoken are Maithili, Bhojpuri, Thaaru and Tamang. D. Nepal is the holy land of Lord Pashupatinath and Gautam Buddha, where the Hindus and Buddhists have lived together in harmony for centuries. The temple of Pashupatinath is the most sacred Hindu shrine and one of the four most important sites in the world for Shiva worshippers. Lord Buddha, the light of Asia, was born in Lumbini in Nepal's southern plains, which makes this a sacred pilgrimage destination for the Buddhists as well. In fact, many Nepalis combine Hindu and Buddhist practices. Many temples and shrines are shared between the two faiths, and some deities are worshipped by both Hindus and Buddhists. The Kathmandu Valley is the richest cultural heritage center of Nepal. The three ancient cities of the valley, Patan, Kathmandu and Bhaktapur, represent an epitome of harmony in urban design, elegant architecture and refined culture. These cities are famous for religious monuments unequaled in the world. The 7 monument zones situated within the valley have been named as World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. Many festivals add dazzling color to Nepal's vibrant culture, which are celebrated throughout the year. Dashain or Dussehra is celebrated nationwide in October. This is the most important of all Nepali celebrations and includes the biggest animal sacrifice of the year. Tihar is celebrated in November. Other festivals include the Holi and Chaitra Dasan. Some Hindu festivals are the Haribodhini Ekadashi, Mahasivaratri and the Krishna Jayanti. There are Buddhist celebrations too, and those include Mani Rimdi, Buddha Jayanti and Losar, which marks the Tibetan New Year. Lesson 2. B. Anyone visiting Sri Lanka may often hear the word Ayubovan. This word means, may you have the gift of long life. It is with this traditional greeting that everyone is welcome to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is variously known as Serendip, Ceylon, Teardrop of India, Pearl of the Indian Ocean, etc. These names reveal the richness and beauty of this island nation. Many travelers, from ancient mariners and merchants to present-day tourists, have been attracted by the beauty of this island. Sri Lanka is located in the Indian Ocean, just off the south-eastern coast of India. Shaped like a teardrop, the island of Sri Lanka measures about 415 kilometers from north to south, and about 220 kilometers from east to west, with a total land area of about 65,600 square kilometers. It has more than 1,340 kilometers of coastline. Despite its modest size, Sri Lanka has a population of about 20 million. Sri Lanka is a multi-religious, multiracial and multilingual country. The 4 major ethnic groups are the Sinhalese, Sri Lanka Tamils, Indian Tamils and Sri Lanka Moors or Muslims. A 5th group, the Vedas, are the original inhabitants of the island. The ancient history of Sri Lanka is depicted in the Hindu epic the Ramayana. But the most important work on Lanka origin is related in Mahavansa or the Great Chronicle. Colombo, the capital city de Sri Lanka's economy has traditionally been based on agriculture. The emphasis is on exporting crops such as tea, rubber, and coconuts. In fact, Sri Lanka is the largest tea exporter of the world. The country is also a major producer and supplier of a variety of spices such as cinnamon, cardamom, pepper, cloves, and nutmeg. Cinnamon first originated in Sri Lanka and was introduced later to the world by the Arab merchants. Sri Lanka's archaeological treasures may be compared to other civilizations of the past like the Golden Age of Greece, the Roman Empire, and Mayan citadels. The culture that followed those glorious pasts has been enriched by the more recent influences of Western colonizers and Eastern traders. That resulted in developing a unique mix of races and religions, arts and crafts, festivals and costumes in this small country. Besides the man-made riches, one may find the God-given blessings of nature in Sri Lanka. The island is circled by azure seas and is blessed with sandy beaches, green hills, cascading waterfalls, abundant wildlife and a variety of flowers and fruits. The country abounds with coconut groves, spice gardens, tea estates and many other gardens and woods. Travelers from all over the world come to Sri Lanka. Here, a weary traveler can pass a relaxing day by a palm-shaded lagoon looking at the endless ocean. And for the adventurous, days can be full of excitement snorkeling, swimming, fishing or sailing. Lesson 3. B. The Republic of Maldives is an island country in the Indian Ocean. It has 1199 islands that are clustered into 26 major atolls. An atoll is a ring-shaped coral reef or string of closely spaced coral islands. The natural coral reefs of the Maldives are surrounded by the sea all around and stand out as a pearl in the Indian Ocean. The Maldives is the 8th smallest country in the world with an area of only 300 square kilometers. It is the smallest Asian country in terms of population and size. People have been living on the islands of the Maldives for nearly 3,000 years. They set sail from different parts of the world, Asia, Arabia, Europe and America, to come to these islands. The earliest settlers of the Maldives were probably from southern India and Sri Lanka, who came to these islands in the 4th and 5th centuries BC. In the 12th century AD, sailors from East Africa and Arab countries came to the Maldives. As a result, the Maldivians, who were originally Buddhists, were converted to Sunni Islam in the mid-12th century. In 1344, Ibn Battuta, a famous Arab historian and scholar, traveled around the Maldives. In the 16th century, the Portuguese conquered the Maldives and ruled the country for 15 years. Although governed as an independent Islamic sultanate for most of its history from 1153 to 1968, the Maldives was a British colony from 1887 to 1965. Following independence from Britain in 1965, the Sultanate continued to operate for another 3 years. On November 11, 1968, the Sultanate was abolished and replaced by a republic, and the country assumed its present name. The Maldives is famous as a tourist destination because of its pleasant weather, heavenly beaches and lagoons, luxurious holiday resorts and the peace-loving people. The Maldives was ranked as the best country for beautiful beaches and facilities for recreation in 2008. The Maldives is well known for being the lowest country in the world. Unfortunately, this small country with idyllic natural beauty is under threat from rising sea levels due to global warming. Most of the country is just 1.5 meters above sea level, with the highest point of 2.3 meters. Many predictions have been made with respect to Maldives being swept away by the rising water level in the Indian Ocean. When the power tsunami of 2004 hit the island nation, many of the island's dry parts were flooded by the seawater. The government of the Maldives has begun to purchase land from nearby countries for resettling its people in case the islands go underwater. In order to highlight the threats of global warming to its low-lying islands, the government of Maldives held a cabinet meeting underwater in 2009. That was the first ever underwater cabinet meeting in the world. The meeting took place about 5 meters underwater, in a blue-green lagoon on a small island. While underwater, the cabinet signed a document calling on all nations to cut their carbon emissions. Lesson 4. A. India is our closest neighbor. It is the largest among South Asian countries. In fact, India is the seventh largest country in the world with an area of 3,287,590 square kilometers. India is bounded by the Indian Ocean on the south, the Arabian Sea on the west, and the Bay of Bengal on the east. It is bordered by Pakistan to the west, China, Nepal, and Bhutan to the north, and Bangladesh and Myanmar to the east. India is the world's second most populous country after China. Its population is around 1.5 billion. New Delhi is the capital of India and about 13 million people live in the city. India is a land of ancient civilization. The social, economic and cultural diversity of this vast country is the result of invasions by different races in the process of history. Indian history begins with the birth of the Indus Valley Civilization and the coming of the Aryans. During this period, Aryan culture flourished in this part of the world. The 5th century saw the unification of India under Ashoka, and it is in his time that Buddhism spread in many parts of Asia. In the 8th century, Islam came to India for the first time, and by the 11th century it had firmly established itself. In 1206, Qutbuddin Aibak founded the Delhi Sultanate. This was finally succeeded by the Mughal Empire in 1526, under which India once again achieved a large measure of political unity. It was in the 17th century that the Europeans came to India. This coincided with the disintegration of the Mughal Empire, paving the way for supremacy of the English, the French, the Dutch and the Portuguese, who were vying with each other to gain control of India. The English emerged as the victors. In 1774, Warren Hastings was appointed the first Governor-General of India by the East India Company. In 1876, Queen Victoria was given the title, Empress of India, by the British Parliament, and India came under the British rule. The British ruled India for nearly 200 years. This period was marked by India's struggle for independence. Through a series of heroic and patriotic movements to restore freedom, India got its independence in 1947. The culture of India is one of the oldest and the most unique in the world. There is amazing cultural diversity throughout the country. The South, North, and Northeast have their own distinct cultures, and almost every state has carved out its own cultural distinction. There is hardly any culture in the world that is as varied and unique as India. There are 17 major languages and 844 dialects used by the people of India. India is a tourist's delight. The Taj Mahal, Fatehpur Sikri, the Qutb Minar and the Red Fort are a few of the many wonders which attract people from all over the world. Kashmir has been described as a paradise on earth. The country of mountains, valleys, deserts, rivers and lakes offer the richness of a mini world within a single country. The Nilgiri Mountains, hill stations like Ooty and Darjeeling, and the temples of South India, Ajanta and Ellora caves are the places one can explore in India.